You're watching the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
And welcome back to the second half hour of the Factor Uncensored. Now, the defamation lawsuit superstar Johnny Depp filed against his ex-wife, Amber Heard, is showing so much darkness. He is suing her for portraying him as an abuser in an opinion piece that she wrote in the Washington Times. Now, here's an example of what the jury saw today on the toxic relationship between the two. In a text between Depp and another actor, Depp wrote, "Let's drown her before we burn her. I will blank her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she's dead." Wow. Depp's ex-wife is also accused of abusing him. And we also ask if Depp's career will ever recover.
Guys, this has been one crazy trip between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. It is a nightmare, and I can't figure out who's in the wrong, but I definitely see a toxic relationship here. Now, Dave, I know you probably met both, probably interviewed both. Did they ever come across as individuals who were so just toxic and violent and
I'm
weird?
I'm just as surprised as everyone else is. The only thing I could say about Johnny Depp, I interviewed him several years ago. We were in London, and he was about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours late for the interview. But hey, we were at a really nice hotel called the KRIV in central London. So they were feeding us. And then Johnny finally decided to show up. That was the only thing. But when he got in the chair, he was great, gracious. His answers were awesome. Amber, also extremely gracious, extremely friendly. I have heard of some of the testimony. I am really surprised that these two had such a toxic relationship in the sense that it graduated into violent episodes. And really, it was from both of them. I am just as in shock, as much shock as anyone else that's hearing this story, Isaiah.
And child, you know, yesterday I pretty much had my mind made up when I heard Johnny Depp's testimony, and I said, well, he's a victim of domestic abuse, of violence by his then wife, Amber Heard. But now I'm hearing a different side, and it's hard to figure out who's right and who's wrong. Well, we know both are wrong, but who's more the victim here, child?
Well, unlike Dave, I am not surprised by what I hear at all, because abusers, whether it's Amber or whether it's Johnny, show up in real life like normal people. That's what abusers look like. They go to work, they're friendly to their friends, and then behind closed doors, the story might look very different. Look, what we know what you said. This is a very toxic relationship, and hopefully it raises conversations about healthy relationships, about how do we prevent violence before it escalates to this severe physical violence that we're listening to in this courtroom testimony among celebrities. Clearly, this is a couple who should not be together, whether you believe Amber or you believe Johnny. But look, what it tells us is that men can be victims too, and oftentimes it's overlooked.
And child, is it possible to have two abusers in that same relationship just tormenting each other?
It is awfully possible. Now, we know that most violence is gender-based, a man exerting violence over women. That's what we see by and large at the Houston Area Women's Center. But we have male survivors. Men are victims too. We offer support groups for men. And remember, the children who come into our shelter are boys. So men can be survivors. But here's an interesting statistic that we know here at the Houston Area Women's Center. False accusations, right? In cases of false accusations, most instances, women are to be believed. But when a man lodges an accusation against a woman, a lot of times they're not believed. More than half of all accounts by men are not believed by law enforcement, by their community, by their friends. So we need to start by believing survivors, whether it's a man or whether it's a woman. In this case, it's Johnny. In this case, it's Amber.
Or people are saying, child, to that man or the male in the relationship, suck it up, chump. Stop crying about it.
Yeah, that's the misogyny and this whole bucking up and some of the things that we work on here at the Houston Area Women's Center is violence prevention, right? Educating our young people that it's not about suck it up, buttercup, and a man is supposed to man up. You know, that creates an environment in a community that justifies bad behavior, like we saw with Will Smith a few weeks ago, right? That misogynist act of just aggression and a beyond assertion, right? That really permeates and becomes the breeding grounds for violence.
And of course, Dave, we're here in this trial because of the defamation lawsuit that Johnny Depp filed against Amber Heard, because it has taken a toll, according to him, on his career. We don't see him in the big blockbusters anymore.
Well, have you seen the last couple of Johnny Depp movies? He kind of did it to himself. They weren't very good. In fact, the movie that I spoke with him about in London, I can't even remember the name of it.
So is this, in your opinion, much to do about nothing, this lawsuit?
No, and I love what they do at the Houston Area Women's Center. So props to the team there for everything, for speaking out against domestic violence. I think that is so important, especially what the world has gone through the last couple of years. But I will tell you, Isaiah, that America is a very forgiving country. If Johnny Depp were to come out with another Pirates movie, and it's over the top great as the others were, then people are like, you know what? I really want to go see Johnny Depp as a pirate again. Or Amber Heard, she's a tremendous actress, comes out and has a fantastic film, gets a lot of word of mouth. People like, have you seen Amber Heard in this? You know, we forgive. This country does forgive. And if you come out with something solid, people flock to it. Guess what? This is all just a memory. It's unfortunate that because of their celebrity status, it all gets aired on a public stage. But as we've discussed here tonight, this is important stuff for the public. Not everybody's a celebrity, might be going through a relationship like this or problems like this, and know that it does happen to everyday people. And it's important to hear this out and seek help. Houston Area Women's Center, people like that are able to help.
But Dave, really quick, back to my original question. This defamation lawsuit essentially says because of her calling him an abuser, unnamed abuser, in an op-ed piece, it ruined his career. So you're saying, from your perspective, it wasn't that. It was just bad movies or bad choices.
I don't think that there's, if as a juror, I'd be like, well, Johnny Depp's a big star. I don't see how this is going. It's certainly, I mean, look, people say any publicity is good publicity, and they're certainly getting a lot of publicity right now. I don't know if I buy the whole it's hurting his career line. I think Johnny's just trying to get a way back because she did go after him, and he's saying, wait a minute, you can't do this. So truth, and I'm not an expert. That's just my, I cover media, entertainment media, and that's just my opinion that I don't, it'll be interesting where this thing, how it ends.
And of course, Chow, we're looking at them on a Hollywood scale, bigger scale, where he's complaining that she ruined his career. But we see this in everyday life when a scorned boyfriend or girlfriend will go and send texts to family members, friends, jobs, potentially ruining somebody's life as well.
Yeah, I mean, domestic violence devastates people, particularly with the survivors we see. Some of the survivors we see lose their credit. They don't have a place to go. Economic and financial ruin are big issues. In fact, economic abuse is the #1 reason 99% of the time a survivor decides to stay. I'm just going to stay with my abuser, or return, or leave, right? They don't want to leave because there's money involved, there's kids involved. So yeah, there's a lot of ruin when it comes to domestic violence, and it costs all of us. Loss of job, loss of wages, visits to the hospital. Everyone's affected by domestic violence.
And I'll ask you the same question that I asked Dr. Angela Jones yesterday here about the same topic. When you realize that you're in a toxic relationship like these two, how do you get out of it without killing each other?
That's a really complicated question. I think at least if you are a friend, a family member, you start by listening and believing. If you find yourself in a situation that doesn't feel unhealthy or doesn't seem unhealthy, and maybe you're just trying to figure it all out, there's always help. Help is available. You can call our hotline, 713-528-2121, go to our website at hawc.org and live chat with somebody privately. Your confidentiality, maybe you're afraid. It just starts with a phone call or talking to somebody. And if you are a friend, just listen without judgment, and let them know that help is available.
And then Dave, my last question to you is, how damaging is this to both of them in Hollywood? are companies willing to work with them again as a result of seeing this dirty laundry aired out so publicly?
Again, if it's a role that fits them perfectly, it's Hollywood, Isaiah. I don't think that I don't think this is going to hurt them as much as you would think, to be honest with you. I think if there's a producer that says, hey, this role is perfect for Amber, Johnny Depp is a big star. If Disney decides they want to put another Pirates movie out, I think he'll get cast. And that's just the way that it goes.
All right. Well, we want to thank you both for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored.